All right, chat, it's that time again. It's time to talk shit about Melonie Mac and their obvious right-wing grift. You guys know that I've been critical of Melonie Mac and her grift for quite some time now. In fact, there's a lot of people who do like the anti-woke content or the right-wing content where it's pretty obvious that they're grifting, but I've never seen a grifter so blatant as Melonie Mac, because I actually used to watch Melonie Mac back in the day, back when she was just a gaming streamer before she ever did the anti-woke right-wing shit. And it's really interesting to see Melonie Mac then compared to now. This is why I say her grift is so obvious. I actually tweeted about a year ago at the time of this recording. So was the old Melonie Mac the grifter or the new one? Because I compared some of her old tweets to her new ones. This is an old tweet from 2018. Just blocked 2 of my followers who replied to this tweet with homophobic hate speech. I have no tolerance for that. So good riddance, bigots. This was her back in 2018, right? This is her also in 2018. So is Nathan Drake straight just for the sake of being straight? Newsflash, gay people exist and it's a normal thing. There are lots of games with straight couples, so you either have to be against all relationships in general or okay with them, otherwise you're just a bigot, right? Let's take a look at this next one. This is one of her newer ones. The Bible, does the Bible tell me to force my neighbors to be Christian? Can I not exercise self-control while others around me do not, while also supporting their free will to do so? Melonie Mac says no, but God instructed kings in the Bible to destroy idols and end prostitution. So I don't think tolerance of degeneracy, porn, LGBT marriages, T-slur surgeries, etc. sound like something God would want us tolerating in society in current day. Let's take a look at another example. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the X Space tonight and had some great discussions. Just remember that no matter what you've done, it's never too late for redemption through Jesus Christ. Accept him and he will clean you up as you walk the path. Don't be an F-slur. Honestly, what's with the damning word that has to be uttered time and time again? She does this, by the way. Constantly uttering the F-slur to be like overly edgy. Is it really worth it? Would our dear Jesus say it ever? Honestly, just wondering. I can't speak for Jesus on that word specifically, but God called it an abomination, which is way harsher than the word I use. And Jesus said, I and the Father are one. So just blatant bigotry, okay? So I've been calling out this grift for a while, because how do you go full like 180 on being a progressive to being like this bigoted and outspoken with bigotry? But anyway, it looks like lately, Mrs. Melonie Mac has grifted a little bit too close to the sun, because now she's actually gone as far as to piss off the anti-woke audience that she has been pandering to for years now. What do I mean by that? Well, she tweeted this out, and it pissed off a lot of people. She was responding to somebody talking about the fall off in players for a game called First Descendant. Gotta be honest, not super familiar with First Descendant. But she says this: lost a lot of followers on this topic, but I'm not afraid to speak against perverts, queer or straight. Queer ideology adds no substance to gaming, and just the same, games based on lustful intent lack substance. Get the perverts out of gaming and just give us good games. So basically what she's speaking out, my understanding is apparently there's some really sexy outfits in this game or something. I did a quick search before the stream, and apparently like it's a like sci-fi space themed game or something like that, and the characters wear outfits where they really accentuate the ass of the characters. Like you really get a good look at their bottoms pretty much. So I guess that's what she's talking about. But I don't think she realizes the kind of audience that she's pandering to. These are the same type of people that, like, how many of you guys remember when The Quartering was bitching about a kid's cartoon of She-Ra, where, like, they didn't make the tits big enough and stuff like that? Basically, was complaining that a kid's cartoon wasn't FAP material for him, okay? These are the kind of people that these anti-wokes are. And like one thing they're extremely outspoken about is censorship. And she's essentially advocating for censorship here. No gooner material in video games, right? She doesn't want people to goon while they play video games, right? So this got her a lot of shit. So much so that this outlet Fandom Pulse says, Melonie Mac says, get the perverts out of gaming, and games based on lustful intent lack substance. Okay. I've got some people who like responded to this. This person says, Melonie Mac is a God damn. That's fucking harsh. Melonie Mac is a used up hole with a Bible who's afraid of video game anime girls showing some skin because she's an attention hog who demands all your views and doesn't want to compete with video game girls. Dear Lord. They called her a used hole? Oh my God. That's so fucked. God. Then we have this person. She says, she basically made that tweet and somebody quote tweeted, sure seemed to care about it when she was backing Stellar Blade, shaking my head, such a hypocrite. What did she have to say about Stellar Blade? Let's take a look. If Twitter's video player will work.
She would be getting a lot of praise for her character design being different than what we typically see in female characters, because they didn't know, like, she's curvy, she's thick. Look how she's got thick thighs. Here's something else before I do that. This was funny. So
see, this is the thing with a lot of these like grifter types or whatever. I talked about this a lot, like when I used to talk about like the YouTube drama scene, how like so many people in the space don't actually have original thoughts. They'll basically, whenever some like YouTube drama will pop up, they'll kind of reserve their judgment until they see whatever like the popular commentator will say. Usually that popular commentator is Nick Diorio. Let's sit back and let's see what Nick Diorio has to say. And then when Nick Diorio gives his opinion on a topic, suddenly they come out and they parrot the exact same fucking topic. A lot of these anti-woke grifters are the same way. They won't say shit until one of the bigger names comment on it, and then whatever opinion they give the same opinion. So what likely happened here is Melonie Mac was probably watching a quartering video on Stellar Blade to see what the quartering had to say about Stellar Blade. And quartering basically said Stellar Blade good because hot girl. And he said the same thing, right? She said the same thing. And yeah, so that's why we're seeing this clip here of her being pro Stellar Blade, even though she's very outspoken against what she considers degeneracy or perversion in video games.
Games Radar was complaining about Stellar Blade puts Eve in some incredibly stupid, sexy outfits that hurt the game's story. But despite the forced sex appeal, I actually love her detailed design. Dude, putting a girl in cute outfits, that's forced sex appeal. And so then they said,
I mean, let's be clear. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with Stellar Blade myself. Like, I haven't played the game. It's just not my cup of tea based on what I've seen. But, like, I don't have a problem with, like, attractive characters in video games. Like, I have no problem with goon material being in video games, okay? I'm literally known as, like, King Gooner, okay? You think that I'm going to be upset about attractive characters in video games? I have no problem with that sort of thing. But you can literally clearly see, plain as day, the hypocrisy here of, like, oh, let's defend Stellar Blade, but now we're going to speak out about degeneracy in perversion in video games. Lara Croft would hate Melonie Mac. That's the thing too, right? Like, I understand that Lara Croft is supposed to be like a strong, independent woman character, but you can't tell me that the developers of that game didn't give her, childbearing thighs and like massive fucking boobers just because, okay? Like, they were very clearly trying to make that an attractive character. You could even look at some of the old marketing material for those old classic games where they literally had like, non-revealing nude photos of Lara Croft to promote the games. Like, they very clearly try to make that a sexy character. And if you don't know anything about Melonie Mac, she is a massive fan of the Tomb Raider games. So why is it okay for Lara Croft to be sexy, but not the characters in this First Descendant or whatever fuck game she's bitching about?
They call it the butt game. And then we have Rachel here who says Games Radar is shocked by the realization that when you look at a character from behind, you can see their butt, which is universal, also with male characters. So this is what the controversy about the bunny outfit with Stellar Blade that we're trying to get to the bottom.
Okay, we get the point. She's a hypocrite. That's not news, but okay. What else we got here? Society has gotten so disgusting that you're likely to get shamed more for calling out degeneracy than for actively promoting degeneracy. This is literally cope right here. That's what this is. This is literally cope. She's coping that people are disagreeing with her. Jeez. We also have this. I'm more than glad to help you fight degeneracy. Let's start with this one. Lara Croft sex doll. So we have another video of her apparently being like perfectly fine with, you know, sexy stuff in gaming as long as it's a franchise she likes, I guess. I don't know. What's this next one? This was years ago since she was like that. She's not a hypocrite. Well, years ago keeps getting more and more recent. With more past posts I see, Melonie acting full 180. So other people finding old tweets and calling out her hypocrisy. This one's from 2021. Almost every female gamer I know, including myself, not only like, but in many cases prefer playing as sexy female characters. It's part of the power fantasy. If gaming journals and some devs could stop being offended on our behalf, that'd be great. So again, perfectly fine with sexy characters in video games. Perfectly fine with it. But now she's outspoken against it. Like I said, she grifted too close to the sun. So she does this long post, coping even more about it. Let's read it, see what she had to say. People have a hard time with what I've been already said clearly, or they're purposely lying about me, probably the latter, but whatever, I'll bite. Regarding lust and entertainment and where my standards are, if something is created with the intent to elicit lust, that is perversion. Also, cheap and disrespectful to the actual art, but anyway. Some people can lust over a pumpkin, so even beautiful art without lustful intent could still be used that way. In that case, that person needs to step away from it and seek deliverance until they can have the self-control to handle it. Is that a fetish? Being attracted to pumpkins? That's weird. That was a weird thing to mention. Or what would reprobate... What about reprobates who don't care about sin and unapologetically will do so? Okay, I can't stop you, nor do I want to, but I also don't want to see you parade your perversion everywhere. If you're going to be a pervert, at least stay in the closet with it. God created beauty. Beauty is good. The world will take beauty and pervert it. Their perversion is not beauty. My main point with all this is to promote beauty that hasn't been corrupted by perverted intent and to encourage self-control. Seek Jesus and you will be filled with the Holy Spirit who will guide you on a beautiful and pure path. And if you don't want to do that, okay, but people like myself are going to openly complain when we see perversion thrown in our faces. And we are in our right to do so. Perverts are ruining society. Many of us want to be able to watch a movie, listen to a song, or play a video game without being bombarded with sex. I mean, you can do that. You know, like many other entertainment mediums, there are different forms of media that appeal to different audiences. If you're really that upset about, you know, perversion in video games, as you call it, there's a company that creates many products that will appeal to you, and it's called Nintendo. Okay? There is no perversion in their products. I'm sure you would love their stuff. Okay? But being real here, like, if there's a game that for whatever reason, you know, it doesn't appeal to your core values, or it's, you know, content that you don't agree with or you don't like for whatever reason, you could just not play it. Just don't consume that media. It's not that fucking hard. There are plenty of things out there that have content within them that I don't like, and I just don't watch it or I don't play it. It's really not that fucking hard. The perverts don't represent the rest of us, and fighting back against woke perversion with a different kind of perversion makes no sense. Oh my God, you have no idea. She has no idea who her audience actually is. Okay? These are the same people. Let me see if I can find this tweet real quick. These are the same people that are parading around a game right now. It's supposed to be a survival horror game, where if you actually look at the footage of the game, there's like, it's the most bland fucking gameplay I've ever seen in my fucking life in regards of survival horror gameplay. The main appeal of the game, like all the anti-woke YouTubers are all over this fucking game. The main appeal of the game is just that it's an attractive female character in skimpy outfits. I'm trying to look through my timeline because I quote tweeted it. I'm trying to look through my timeline for this game because like that's literally it. So she has no idea. Here we are. She has no idea who her audience is. Look at this game. Let me scroll through the time. Hopefully I can do this on Twitch. I don't know. But this game, I guess it's called Survivor X. The whole appeal of this game is just skimpy outfits on characters. Like, if you're in a zombie apocalypse, why the fuck would you be walking around in your underwear like that? Right? Like, why the fuck? And then, like, you look at, like, a schoolgirl outfit on this character. Which, again, like I said, I don't mind attractive characters or attractive outfits for characters in video games. I don't mind. But, like, that's the sole appeal. Excuse me. That is the sole appeal. Look at the fucking jiggle physics. That is the sole appeal of this game. That's your audience, Melonie Mac. This is what your audience that you're trying to pander to is into. And you just shat in their fucking faces by criticizing what they're into. You have no idea who your audience is. But anyway. So fighting back against woke perversion with a different kind of perversion makes no sense. People are still going to lie and argue this in bad faith. So go on ahead. I spoke out of conviction for Christ and have no regrets. Okay, so that's what she had to say about that. This person says, this is Melonie's logic. Sexy outfits in Stellar Blade equals good. Censoring them equals bad. Sexy outfits in the First Descendant bad. Censoring them is good. This is hypocrisy, not logic, as logic requires one to be consistent with their stances, and you are not. Now I was going to watch this video as well. She put out a video addressing Goonergate. That's what she calls it, Goonergate. But honestly, I think we get the gist of it. Melonie Mac is nothing more than a far-right grifter. She's been a grifter for the longest time. Anybody who has any ability to pay attention to what's going on can tell that she's a grifter. And she doesn't give a fuck about any of this shit. She's just saying what she thinks she has to say to get a bag and stay relevant. And that's it. So, there you have it. Melonie Mac proves herself to be a grifter yet again. No surprises there. Unfucking believable. I just think it's funny. The anti-woke people are shitting on their... And here's the funniest thing about this, right? What she doesn't understand is that the majority of the people in her audience are probably gooning to her while they watch her basically parrot things that they want to hear. It's like a little echo chamber of like anti-woke freaks that just want to listen to a pretty girl tell them what they like to hear and probably goon to it in the process. That's the funniest thing about it, is that that's probably what's happening when people watch her videos. But anyway, she's a grifter. I've known it for years, and now it looks like a lot of people on the right know it now too.